To Italia.
Gerard has moved on.
Traitor. He's playing a blue. He's playing Esper Deathblade.
Welcome back, Gerard.
I'll give you Gerard's
I'll
deck
take
list.
that one.
Yeah, I'm used to Rug Delver. I'll do a quick overview of this. As you do see an Insect Aberration into play for James. Quick look at his deck list. Just any changes from your standard one. You see 2 Spell Pierce main, 2 Thought Scour main, Sylvan Library, and a Fire Ice, and then just the standard 4 of 4 Delvers, 4 Nimble Mongoose, 4 Tarmogoyfs, Bolts, Force Wills, Dazes, all that good stuff.
So what's he cutting to make room for these one-ups? He actually doesn't have any Fork Bolts?
Yeah, you don't see any Fork Bolts. Some versions do play a couple Spell Snares. Maybe some versions have like 4 Spell Pierces where he only has 2. So that's really about it. They always find a little bit of wiggle room in their deck to be able to do that.
There's always maybe four slots that they can go different directions with.
Yeah.
Gerard here playing a deck similar to what we saw Brian Brandywin playing earlier. As for Deathblade, again, heavier black than the Stoneblade or Spiritblade lists.
Okay.
So he has Liliana the Veil.
Okay.
He has some Dark Confidants. So those strangely only 3 Dark Confidants and 3 Stoneforge Mystics.
That is strange.
That I don't quite understand the 3 Mystics in the deck where that's your primary play in game 1. It does have 2 Geist of St. Traft.
Okay.
So getting kind of a more aggressive build there.
Looks like he's really trying to get a heads up on the mirror. That's what it feels like.
But the mirror, Stoneforge is so good in the mirror. He does still have 2 Lingering Souls, which are, again, another kind of mirror card there. I would expect, this version is certainly going to be favored against your vanilla Esper Spirit decks.
Yeah.
But not that much. It's really a slight, only 1 Snapcaster Mage, for instance.
Okay.
And not a lot of hand disruption. In fact, I don't see any main deck discard. Oh, wait, no, it's over here with the lands.
Okay.
So his lands include 4 Thoughtseize and 1 Inquisition of Kozilek. And then a pretty typical mana base for these decks. Although 4 Wastelands in Gerard's 4-color deck.
Wow.
Something that is not kind of how I like to build these decks. I think I've kind of mentioned previously, but it does kind of push that Geist plan of I want to kill them and keep them off balance.
Sure.
Not going for as long a game as a lot of the other Esper decks. Yeah,
a lot of the other ones, as you said yesterday, you like to just go a lot longer. You want a lot of lands in your deck, a lot of basics. Some number of discards, some number of proactive and reactive effects. Where Gerard looks like he's trying to push his opponent over a little bit with Dark Confidant, just be a little bit quicker with Geist of St. Traft and actually use Wasteland to make Geist of St. Traft a little bit better. As we do see Bishop is going to resolve a Brainstorm here. James Bishop, a player from Florida, seen him top 8 with Rug Delver multiple times. He would say that he's a better Legacy player than he is at Standard, and he's very comfortable playing Rug Delver. As you do see a Sulfuric Vortex and a couple other cards in his hand here. Gerard up a game, does draw a Blue Elemental Blast. And we'll see
with that Vortex.
As with the looks like he is putting a couple cards back as well here.
I mentioned yesterday kind of the cards that the Esper decks really do fear out of Rug Delver. Vortex being kind of public enemy number 1.
Yeah.
That's arguably that, and depending on how many Lingering Souls you have, Sulfur Elemental are the scariest cards.
Yeah.
As well as Nimble Mongoose because it's so hard to interact with.
Yep.
Typically, the Goyfs and the Delvers aren't that scary. You have a lot of ways to deal with those kind of cards.
We're going to see Gerard come across for 2. Sulfuric Vortex dealt him 2, and now we're going to see him take care of that right away.
So that, okay. Probably right. Actually, if you think about it, Gerard doesn't want to let James draw a Force of Will. Gives up 2 damage, but with Gerard at 6 life, he really can't afford not to. He can't take chances there.
Yeah. What if that just goes wrong?
Yeah.
You know.
And then all of a sudden you're just dead, and now you're way ahead in this spot here.
Yeah. James has some sort of unexpected counterspell that you're not expecting. Don't really know what it could be. He does have 2 copies of Pyroblast in his sideboard. So Pyro
right. That's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, Pyro's the Blue
one.
Elemental Blast, and it's just a complete disaster for Gerard. His he's underneath the gun from Vortex. His Batterskull doesn't do anything.
Yep.
So I actually, it looks bad because it's like, why don't you let him do himself 2 damage?
I think it's certainly right. I like that play from Gerard.
So we do see Stoneforge Mystic from Gerard. It's going to search up Batterskull. He's at 6 life. He's looking to get some life back while also pressuring James. We'll see what James is going to be able to run into here, because if you know anything about Rug Delver, when a Batterskull is in play against it, it's lights out.
I'm a little familiar with this matchup, and I've had, that's a Batterskull and Jit both just do so much work.
Yeah. Now we're going to see a Brainstorm.
How many
here.
Grudges does James have access to here? Just 1?
Yeah, just 1. You typically find just 1 in the sideboards of these decks. Sometimes you'll find a Crow's Grip as well. It doesn't look like James has one of those. So he really needs to make sure that Batterskull and that Germ Token do not come into play. As you do see him resolving a Brainstorm here. Rug Delver is such an interesting deck, Tom, because this is a deck that's like a resource denial deck that does want to get ahead of its opponent, and it's not a deck that comes from behind very well, but it has to stay ahead, and it always feels like it's clinging on to like the edge of the cliff when it wins every game, just barely staying ahead. If they are ever able to turn the corner, that's the problem.
Yeah, and you've seen it. I mean, I played this matchup a considerable amount. Obviously, my list probably a little different than Gerard's, but it's the same kind of structural components, and it is really just a race to stabilize a little bit. What I think we're going to see here is James going to try to stifle the germ token on Batterskull. I believe that is a triggered ability.
I believe that is triggered as well.
I believe Batterskull, when we pull it up, it says when the centers play, I believe the entire mechanic of living weapon is triggered.
So we will bring Batterskull up on the screen for you guys, so we can confirm that. Yep. So that's a trigger. So that's a fun little stifle target.
And with Gerard stuck on 3 lands here, you know, and one of those being a wasteland, he maybe might get tempted to pop off on something. Although James, equal amounts of his 2 colors, didn't bait that.
Yep.
Maybe he should have. Maybe James could have considered here trying to bait Gerard into using that wasteland to keep him on 2 lands.
Sure.
To further that stifle plan. Or we can just do that.
Just gonna go ahead and
or we can just go ahead and do that.
Now, how do you feel? How do you feel with that with Gerard at 6?
Gerard at 6, I really like the idea of just bolting Gerard.
You're going to see Gerard play a main phase Brainstorm here. Going to draw 3 cards: Stoneforge Mystic, Flooded Strand, and another Flooded Strand. Wants to organize his turn here. Wants to figure out what he wants to do. He does have some lands to finally put into play here. You see a Nile Spellbomb. You see Liliana the Veil, a couple lands. He looks like he's going to put that Spellbomb back on top of his deck. Maybe he puts the Batterskull back and searches it up with
I think that's probably too slow.
Yeah.
To do here, actually, I think he's wants to hard cast the Batterskull next turn. Is my guess, but Gerard could go a different direction.
He's going to sacrifice the Flooded Strand, and you're going to see looks like a stifle. Okay. So now he's going to cast Stoneforge. Maybe what you see here, Thomas, he searches for the Lumazawa Shite, and he's able to play and equip next turn.
Yep.
And that's the thing that's what's going to beat.
Yep.
That's what's going to beat James.
If James draws a burn spell here, I think he's going to really regret not taking that more aggressive stifle line.
Yep.
Which was kind of my first instinct there, is when you're, especially with Rug Delver, when you're this far behind, how do you win this game?
Yep. Right?
So his only card in hand now is a Tarmogoyf. That Tarmogoyf is not hitting anyone anytime soon. Gerard has a lot of chump blockers. He's at 5 life. He has the Batterskull that it will eventually hit play if you kill that Silverder stick. I don't think it's a reliable win plan to take the line he's taken here. I think it's optically it's more reassuring. It makes more sense. It's a more intuitive line. It's, I see a Silverder stick. I can kill it. I do.
Yeah.
But how do you win that game then? And that's what you really need to be thinking about when you're this far behind, is how can I steal a win?
Yeah, you have to look a couple turns into the future.
Yeah, I think you really need the mindset of, I'm trying to steal something here. It doesn't belong to me. That's this win. Because I'm this far behind against a deck that has more powerful cards.
Now we're going to see Gerard sacrifice a Flooded Strand. He's going to search out an Underground Sea. You do know that Umezawa Shite is looming. You see a counterspell with Gerard's draw step for the turn. You see a Nile. I think he put that Spellbomb back with the Brainstorm. Yep. And you see a Batterskull in his hand, so he's just going to pass the turn back. Interesting.
Leave up counterspell. I like this line. It makes sense. We're just gonna chump the Goyf with our Snapcaster Mage and drop a Batterskull into play.
Sure. And
leave him counterspell the entire time.
So you're going to see Ponder. Gerard's going to let him resolve this. He's going to let him set things up, and if he does find something irrelevant, he'll just counter that.
Yep. We're going to go ahead and shuffle this one away, I imagine. Yep.
That does not look pleased. Any merit to countering the Ponder there? You just let him find an actual real card and just counter
Let him find the card.
Okay.
You don't know what his last card in hand is. It could be business already, and you don't mind leaving this mana up for the rest of the game, because once your Batterskull hits once and you go to 8, Rug Delver's not coming back from that.
No, not
when they're in this spot and this far behind.
Okay. Can't attack with that Tarmogoyf. Can't block with it. You know, as you said, once they do turn the corner, and Batterskull actually finally does get a hit in. It takes a little while, but if you are able to finally get that hit in with Batterskull, that's it.
Again, I think that's the mindset you need to have when you're playing a deck like Rug Delver. Is you train yourself to do things like stifling these fetch lands, but at this stage of the game, it only matters when you have a threat in play.
Yeah.
And since you don't have a threat, I think you need to try to find a better stifle target, like the Batterskull you know that Gerard has in his hand.
And so you're going to see Gerard put that Batterskull into play. There's your Germ token. Gerard is going to untap. He's going to draw a card. He could even, force in that Jite, equip it to the Batterskull, do something like that. I don't think there's any reason for him to do that. It's just an option.
So that's something we saw yesterday. I can't remember if you or Osip were with me when we were watching Zvi Malschmitz play the Stoneblade Mirror.
Osip, we were with.
Yeah, and one of the things Zvi did was he had a chance. He moved in on equipping one guy with. He played and equipped a sword. Okay. And his guy got Swords of Plowshare.
Sure.
Instead of that, he could have just played another threat or left more mana, taken a more versatile line. Sure. I think Gerard has a lot of experience in this format. He understands what's going on. Oh, as he does exactly the opposite of what I'm saying. Oh no, sorry, that was an end. That was end of turn. Yeah, so he did do what I thought he would do, which is play more flexibly, play more conservatively, did not attack the. Interesting. So the Tarmogoyf is so large that he can't attack his. He could not have attacked there with his germ token. But now we're gonna go ahead and get it in, get those 2 tokens put onto the 2 counters put on, and be able to kill that Goyf now in combat.
So now he is happy to attack. And I know while you're doing your anecdote, the card that James did draw for his turn was Lightning Bolt.
Yep.
And so, you know, looking back just a few turns ago where you saw Lightning Bolt that Stoneforge missed, the game's a little bit different now. Gerard does have an actual counter spell in his hand, so he'll be able to take care of that. But it's just something to consider from a few turns ago that he did actually find another one.
And yeah, I think if the game had played out alternatively in that line, once we stifled that germ token trigger, it takes Gerard 2 turns to get that thing back into play.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it would have been in time, that Lightning Bolt, but Gerard also would be tapping out to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd have a very different game state here where Gerard couldn't just sit back on this mana because he has to keep bouncing that Batterskull and replaying it. Yeah. He did end up having a second Stoneforge Mystic, which would have accelerated his plan there. But
we do see
James.
The Tarmogoyf battles with. We got to figure out how big that Tarmogoyf is because it is. Yeah, it's battling, and we do see it's a 6/7. Okay. So you saw it battle with that germ token plus the Musashite. You're wondering how big is that thing, and you do see 2 lightning bolts.
This is strange.
Wow.
Why not just bolt Gerard twice? If you figure he has a counterspell anyway.
Maybe he's trying to push through that.
Oh, this is lethal.
Push through the Goyf.
This is lethal because if he kills the Stoneforge Mystic, he attacks with creatures and then bolts him again.
Well, the Musashite does have 2 counters. She can gain 4 life.
Oh, right. That card has a lot of abilities on it.
A lot of text. A lot of text.
I thought he used the counters last turn to kill the Goyf, but obviously he did not. The Goyf is still in play. Speaking about last turn, one thing I think Gerard should have considered was putting the Jitte onto the Snapcaster Mage and throwing that away and leaving the Batterskull token in play.
Sure.
Because now it's a cost of, I understand he can bounce it and replay it, but that takes a lot of mana. He's not going to be able to do that now. Gerard could actually lose this game.
Yeah, those running Lightning Bolts has really changed a lot of this game. As now you see James is going to hold it that Lightning Bolt in his hand. It'll be interesting to see if maybe Gerard maybe Wastelands the Volcanic Island before something happens.
He's hoping that Gerard will equip the Batterskull and then
bolt
die.
It. Yeah. Dig his own grave. Trying to set a huge trap here.
Gerard basically is losing this game right now because
it seemed like he was ahead. It seemed like he was pretty far ahead 2 turns ago.
I think that Batterskull attack was premature to get the 2 tokens onto the Jitte.
Okay.
You don't want to throw that token away. It's so mana intensive.
And now we're going to see Deathrite Shaman. You're going to see him try to equip here on Stoneforge Mystic. Does he pull the trigger on Lightning Bolt here, Tom? All right, he does.
With 2 mana still up, Gerard can now re-equip, but if his Gerard's now stuck re-equipping and jumping that Goyf.
Yep.
So obviously a lot has happened last 2 turns. I wish I had a second or 2. I want to think through what other line Gerard could have taken here to possibly win this game. And I'm not, just too much has happened. It's like, it's tough to kind of walk through the plays.
Yeah, there's been a lot of back and forth.
And yeah, pretty quick action. I do think that, so instead of equipping the Jit and attacking his 4/4 Batterskull into the Goyf, potentially if he equipped the Snapcaster Mage and threw that into combat, get 2 counters, then next turn put on the Batterskull, now you have an 8/8 Batterskull.
Sure.
Send that into combat.
Sure.
That's the line
that beats the Tarmogoyf.
I think his line was a little greedy in that he was planning on bouncing and replaying the Batterskull.
Sure.
But it takes 5 mana. He's trying to hold up counterspell. He's doing too much there. And it's very easy. That plan gets disrupted by 1 Lightning Bolt out of James.
Now this attack is interesting here because you see him come across with the Nimble Mongoose and you see him come across with the Tarmogoyf. Let's see the Nimble Mongoose gets blocked.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen here.
Yeah, Nimble Mongoose gets blocked. Gerard gains 2 life. He goes to 7.
And +2
and +2 it eats the Nimble Mongoose. Ends the turn at 1, and then we have a Tarmogoyf versus a Deathrite Shaman with 2 Jitte counters.
And then we equip the Batterskull onto the Deathrite Shaman and move in, which
so
I think what Gerard's forced to do.
I don't like the attack here with the Nimble Mongoose.
Also now, if Gerard draws a Black Mana Source, he gets to play Liliana Edicts the Tarmogoyf. Gerard back in this game.
So now, is he going to double pump here? She's going to. It looks like he's going to gain a life. Yeah,
he's not going to die.
So now the Nimble Mongoose is going to die. Gerard's going to go down to 1, and James doesn't have a follow up and pass. So
the Black Mana Source away from I think being decisively ahead.
Well, I'm not sure that. Yeah, as you're going to see the equip as we thought we would. I'm not sure he even needs a Black Mana Source here because I don't understand the attack with the Mongoose. He throws it away. Gerard ends up at 1 life. 1 is not 0, and now I can't imagine coming back from this.
Yeah, especially now because Gerard gets the pump and gain extra life, so he gets to do both abilities on Jitte at once.
Yeah,
because of the lifelink from the Batterskull.
Yep.
Wow, this turned back very quickly.
Now, he does want to balance the number of counters so he can pump defensively and fight that Tarmogoyf. But I think that attack with the Nimble Mongoose there by James was a bit of a misstep. If he sends it with just the Tarmogoyf, it's not a lethal attack,
Right.
because Gerard can just gain 4 life.
But still, he just still did the same thing and just threw away. Whether Gerard's at 1 or at 3, Lightning Bolt still kills him.
Yep.
A lot of the same things are still going on.
So now you're going to see Bishop sacrifice the Scalding Tarn on his end step. See what he's going to try to draw here. As Gerard's life total is much higher than that. We'll get it updated for you guys from our spotter in just a moment here. I think he's up to 9 now, but we'll
So
get
he would have
confirmation.
gained 4 or 5. He gained 7 that
Yep,
turn.
so he goes up to 8.
And now we see Force Will not going to do it. Gerard should take this game down. So amazing back and forth here. Really quickly shows.
Yep.
Gerard also played very well in not taking the greedy play. The obviously greedy play of James just used the bolt and I countered it. Let me just equip my Stoneforge Mystic with this Batterskull and hit you.
Yeah.
Took the more reserved line, which saved the game of let's just play my Death Red Shaman, put a Jitte on my Mystic,
Yep.
and then pass the turn.
So we do see Gerard Fabiano does win 2 games to 0. Esper Deathblade does defeat James Bishop, playing Rug Delver.